We can
Yes.
see, we can see it.
All right, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna my meeting today, what I'm planning to cover so that you guys understand, we're gonna cover two different things in this meeting. We're gonna cover how to price a loan on the system and then how to price the loan in Encompass. For those of you that have been working with our locks department in the past, I know that there's been a lot of favors and a lot of hand holding, which is great. But as we scale and as we get bigger and as the loan officers like you guys need attention, being able to do this all on your own and being able to lock through the system is much quicker and much easier. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do the first one, which I think is easier as far as being able to access the site from your cell phone or from your internet, on your computer, your laptop. The drawback of doing it this way is it doesn't have your loan statistics automatically loaded. So if you do this through Encompass, which I will show you later, when you price it through Encompass, it's going to automatically populate what your loan qualifications are. So I'm going to log in as a regular loan officer. And this is what you're going to see when you log in. It's going to be blank page. No, it's slow. There we go. So for those of you, I'm going to move. There we go. Okay, so this is what you're going to see. And I want you guys to take a quick second and kind of just drink this in. There are a lot of little switches and clicks and there's a lot of information on this page. And when you first come in here, guess what? This information is blank. So there are some minimum information buckets that need to be filled, and those are delineated by the red dots. So for this one right here, obviously they want to know what the first mortgage amount is going to be. So we're going to do that. We're going to search. I'm starting, and if you haven't noticed in the past, each one of these talk about the different things. So the reason why I'm highlighting this is because sometimes you'll be doing this quickly, especially those of us that have been doing loans for a long time. You'll quickly go in and fill out what you need to know and what you think you know, and all of a sudden you'll be like, oh my God, I forgot to put that they're self-employed. And then you're frantically trying to find where the self-employed button is. And if you go through this here, it can be really frustrating if you can't find it. So just know, hey, I know it's a thing, something about the loan, or it's about the property or the borrower. Then it might be a little bit easier to go to these the headings here of each section to find what it is that you need to put in there. So we're going to start with I'm going to start with a basic loan. We'll do a $600,000 loan amount. And is there a HELOC? No. Is there a draw amount? No. Now, what does this mean? I'm going to start at the bottom of the information. So obviously I'm looking to do a first mortgage. If I was looking to do a piggyback mortgage or a HELOC or do simultaneous mortgages, I would put that information in these buckets here. And I'm just looking for a first mortgage. So the only bucket that I'm going to be putting information is going to be in the first one, what my loan amount is. The next one is going to be my estimated value. My estimated value for this house is going to be $750,000. Now, when I push tab, it'll automatically push over what the appraised value is because kind of they need to match. So I know it's kind of redundant here, but if we initially think it's going to be a 700,000 and it appraises for 650, that's obviously going to change the LTV and it creates a huge mess. But for all intents and purposes, we want to make sure that the price of estimated value is going to match my appraisal amount. And we're doing a purchase. It says it right here. If we were doing a refinance and we were putting cash amount, we would put that here. Now, the system is smart enough to know that if you have under a certain amount of dollars for cash out, it might not be considered a cash out loan. Again, some of these will be auto-populated. This one right here that talks about months of reserves, it's giving me 36. It auto-populates. Am I going to waive escrows? No. What does that mean? When you go to do a loan here, anywhere, Usually what happens at closing is they set up an escrow account where you include your taxes and insurance so that your payment included is going to show you taxes, insurance, principal, and interest. So it's a PITI. That's what PITI stands for. Next, we're going to go down to the borrower information. Now, to get a quote in Encompass, I'm sorry, in Optimal Blue, I don't need this information. I don't need the borrower's name. I do need, as you can see here, what the FICO score is going to be. I'm going to pick a FICO score of 740. Are they self-employed? We're going to say no. Verified, are they a U.S. citizen? What's the DTI? Now, for those of you, as you can see, it's got a memory in here that I've already put in the past of 35. Oh, this one, I'm sorry, was there a question?
No.
No? Okay. The DTI, I usually put 35 in there just to kind of move things along. Well, Adesali, can we mute her?
I'm muting them. Don't worry.
I already did it. Okay, so moving forward, is there a non-occupant co-borrower? Those are the kinds of things that I'm looking at this point. We're looking at a primary residence. We're doing a property. It's a single family, 1 unit, 1 story. It's in California. Now, I want you to notice here that the county is red. The reason is because there's different loan amount parameters depending on the county. So there's different loan limits, and it depends on what county. So for this purpose, I'm going to say Orange County, and I don't need to put the zip code, just so you know. Now, what am I looking for? Am I looking for an FHA loan? Am I looking for a VA? Am I looking for, what am I looking for? For right now, for this one that we're going to do, I'm just looking for a conforming rate. I'm looking for a 30-year fix. These are the ARM. I'm not looking for ARMs. And then this kind of all is checked off here. To be quite honest, if I know that I'm not looking to do a HARP or a HERO, you can uncheck this. I don't need this. I don't need any of these in here, right? I'm not looking to do a USDA. So you can uncheck some of these if you know that that's not what you want. But even if you leave them all there, it's still going to give you pricing. I'm going to move down. My desired rate. So if I have in mind what I want the rate to be, I could type in the rate here and it'll show me where my pricing is around that rate. But because I haven't priced this loan out yet, I don't know what the rate is. I don't care what the rate is. I want to see what it gives me first. It's going to ask me my desired lock period. Right now, it is blank, so it's going to give me more than 1 lock period. It will give me the 15 days and the 30 days. Is it an interest only? No. Are there any buy downs? Is the borrower paying the MI? These are for obviously loans where you might have higher than 80% LTVs, conforming loans. You don't need to fill them out. That's why there's no red buttons. I don't need to check anything on those. I will still get pricing. All right, going down here, these are the exceptions. I'm sorry, I skipped over the loan amount. Again, these you can see are grayed out. Right now, I don't need to click on anything there because I'm not looking for anything there. All right, pricing for mortgage rates and stuff. I would recommend not making any changes to this stuff here. You can, but it's really not that important. Things to note here that are very important. The document type, if you guys are going to price a DSCR loan, it will be posted here. I will give you an example. It will show bank statements if you're looking to do a bank statement loan. If this was a DSCR, you would click in there what your ratio is. But I want to get ahead of ourselves. We'll do that in a second. For right now, I'm just going to do a regular pricing. So based on the loan of $600,000 at a purchase price of $750 with my FICO score of, going over it again, my FICO score of 740, I'm going to submit this to get a price. And to be quite honest, whether I get a price or not, it's still going to help us. Okay, so I want you guys to notice that there are and I'm going to fix this. I know Ruben has been doing this for some time. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, I'm going to fix this. Right now, what's coming up first is a home ready program. We don't need a home ready program. a Home Possible program. We don't want Home Possible. So you kind of have to filter through down here past the Home Readies and the Home Possibles till you get to your first conforming 30-year fixed, which is this one here. If I click show, it's going to give me the rates that this loan priced out for. So I can see by looking at this, and I'm glad that this came up. I can see by looking at this that there is a par price at 625, 6.25, and there's another par price at 6.875. So essentially, I can get 6.625 and 6.875 for the same price, and there's a cost at 6.75. Why do you say is that? And I'll give you an answer. Because the coupons on the secondary market are paying better for the rates that are giving the better price. The coupon at 6.75 is at a cost, and hence you don't want to sell the 6.75. So in the past, when you would call the lock desk, sometimes the lock desk would tell you, and this happened to me yesterday, you're trying to lock at a certain rate, and if you actually lock at an eighth lower rate, you will get a better price. This will do that for you. So just to give you an example, this is what your pricing is going to look like, and this is where you're at. All right, I'm going to go now. Are there any questions up until this point?
Yes, hold on a second.
The origination charges, are those correct? Like, is that something?
No.
Here?
Good question. That's a great question. Thank you, Deshay. Remember, this loan is not a loan from Encompass. This is just something that we went in and put in. So those numbers are frivolous. They don't mean anything because you didn't put origination charges in there. They're not there. I do want you to notice that the origination charge or closing costs match what the discount point is. So let's say I wanted to sell this borrower on a 5.75 30-year fixed. Well, that is at a 2-point cost. A 2-point cost is $12,000. Obviously, you would have to charge $12,000, but it is actually a discount point. So these numbers, because we didn't put anything in there, they're just frivolous numbers. The ones that you're looking at or the ones that you really care about are your interest rate, your P&I payment, because this is your principal and interest payment. Because remember, in the system, it doesn't know what our property taxes are. It doesn't know what our insurance is for this property. We've only given it basic parameters of what's the loan amount, what's the purchase price, or what's the value of the home, what's the rate, and this is what it kicks out for my principal and interest. Now, I'm going to open up the question to everyone here. Does that mean my APR in this scenario, since I just inputted this, is the APR true and correct?
No.
Anybody?
No.
Was that a no?
No.
No.
Correct. You are correct. The APR is not legitimate because we don't know what the APR is because we don't know all the costs of this loan. So remember, when you're doing this through the system of whether you're going on the phone to price out a loan, or if you're going to the website, not going through Encompass, the numbers that you really care about are just the rate. If you want to know what the principal and interest payment looks like, it's there, and what the pricing is going to be for the rate that you're looking at. So whether you're looking at the actual percentage points, or if you want, this just gives you the dollar amount. There's two things here: the discount points in percent and the discount points in dollars are the ones that are most accurate through going this way because they're only using the information that we gave. All right. Are there any questions? All right. I'm going to price.
Christopher.
Yes, go ahead, Rick.
Just real quick. So I know I missed the first 2 minutes of this. I was on a call. I apologize if you already went over this. Do you
No,
have?
that's fine. We gave away $1,000 in the first 2 minutes.
I didn't want.
Sorry,
that.
you missed out, Rick.
I didn't want the 1,000. I was holding out for the 5. I was holding out for 5.
Well, how can I help you, Rick?
The branch margin which includes the compensation to the loan officer. Is our passwords are connected to this Optimal Blue? Is that correct?
Yeah, so just so you know, good question. All of your guys' logins are connected to just your branch. So your branch, Rick, all of your loan officers will see your branch's pricing, just like Oregon, just like Orange, just like everyone. You don't have to worry about picking a branch. This pricing here is attached to the branch that the license, the loan is the loan officer is hanging under. So all of you guys don't have to worry about, do I work with Rick, or do I work with Alfonso, or do I work with Angelica or Dominic? It's wherever your login is, when your login was created, it's created under your branch and where you should be. Good question, Rick.
Yeah, I know someone had a question on that. They were texting me, so I just wanted to make sure that they were aware. Yeah, so if the branch commission to the LO is 1%, that's already built in here. If it's 1.5%, that's already built in here. If it's 2%, it's already built in here.
Yeah, all of that is done through the branch manager. So that's done through whoever your branch manager is.
Great. Thanks so much.
No problem. All right. So moving right along. I'm gonna price out an FHA loan. Would you guys like to look at an FHA loan? Let's pick the same
Of
purchase.
course we would.
Let's do a purchase price of $650. All right, so we're gonna do, the loan amount is gonna be $627,250. $650. Oh, not $350. All right, we're also looking at a purchase. We're looking at a FICO score of, let's say, 680. We're looking at a DTI. I'm going to keep the DTI for argument's sake where it is. Primary residence, single family. We're going to stay in Orange County, and I'm looking for an FHA loan. So I just came down here. Everything else has kind of stayed the same. I changed the FICO score. I came down here, typed in that I want an FHA loan, and I'm going to click for it to price. Nothing else has changed other than I'm just looking at a different loan. I'm looking for an FHA loan. I hit submit. All right, so we've got a 30-year FHA, 30-year fixed right here. And if I click show, it's going to show me my pricing for my 30-year fixed FHA. Again, going back to what we were talking about before, as you move lower in rate, it comes at a cost, and those costs are shown here in percentage points or dollars over here. And if you go up in rate, it shows rebates or dollars as opposed to percentage and dollars. Okay. All right. I am now going to, are there any questions?
It's not calculating. It's not calculating.
Yeah. So again, going back to what we talked about before, the MI is not calculated. The APRs are not correct. It's just giving you the general idea of what my principal and interest payment would be. So let's say we sold them the par price of the 5.625 according to this, and my payment would be $3,674, not counting property taxes, insurance, and monthly mortgage insurance, the MIP. Okay. Are we all clear? I've just priced out a conforming loan. And for those of you that are on this phone call, I'll help you if you've been in the business a long time. A conforming loan means that it fits Fannie or Freddie guidelines. Everyone calls them a conventional loan, but technically all of these are conventional loans. What you really mean to say is a conforming loan, and a conforming loan means that it fits into the guidelines of Fannie and Freddie. So, all right, we're going to go back here and we're going to do a non-QM loan. I'm going to price the non-QM loan first incorrectly to prove a point, because I want you guys to see how you can find the product you're looking for. So we're going to go back to the $600,000 loan amount and the purchase price of $750. I'm going to go to a nice 755 to score, okay? I am going to go down and I want this to be a bank statement loan. I want my borrower to go with I'm going back to conforming, even because I'm not looking for an FHA. I'm going to go down here and I want to click that the income verification type is not full doc. We're going business bank statements 24 months. Has everyone seen what I did here? I'm going to go back to the top. I've got a $600,000 loan amount. I got a $750,000 purchase price. It's a purchase. I've gone through here, got my FICO score, I got my DTI, single family in Orange County. I'm going conforming, I'm going for a 30-year fixed. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click business bank statement. Now, this is going to come out wrong. I know why, but I'm not going to say why. I'll let it kick out rates. Okay, so I'm going to look at what populated. A home ready populated, I don't want a home ready. A home possible populated, I don't want it. Another home possible, nope. I'm looking for a non-QM loan. So I'm going to scroll down here and make it all the way past all these Mercury options, and I'm looking for the non-QM option. So there we go. Non-QM. Now, am I looking for a foreign national? No. Am I looking for, nope. Foreign national, investor, no, no. Non-delegated flex prime, that might be it. So if I click right here where it says show, it's going to tell me why it's not giving me rates. It's saying because it says self-employed is no. Now, for those of you that just saw me fill this out, you saw that I put 12 months bank statements, business bank statements. So obviously, in order to qualify for a bank statement loan, you have to be self-employed. So I made the mistake and didn't put that they were self-employed. So I'm going to go back up above. I'm going to revise my search, and I'm going to talk about who. I'm asking about my borrower. Is my borrower self-employed? So I'm going to go to borrower information, and I'm going to go here. Oh, look, self-employed. I put no. So I'm going to change that to yes, and I'm going to scroll down and push submit. Now, if I look here, when I get past my Mercury options, oh, look, there's my non-QM option that I'm looking for. And if I click show, it's going to give me the rates for my bank statement non-QM option here based on the information that I gave. I'm going to pause. And I want you to look also, it also gives you the LLPAs. So this is where my hits are for. So I'm getting hit 0.875 for the 80% income, alternate doc, and my FICO B. These are what are called LLPAs. The reason I'm bringing this up is when you go to price on your phone or on the internet, on your website, on your laptop or computer, and then sometimes you go in and price it in Compass, sometimes they don't match. And the quickest way to find out why the pricing doesn't match is to look down here at the loan level adjustments to find out what is triggering in Encompass that might be triggering differently on where I priced on the computer. And a lot of times it's here. Hey, you know what? You put 740 in your search criteria, but your file actually only has a 725. So that's why it's got a different LLPA. Or you put that this is a single family residence when in Encompass it's actually a duplex or a triplex. So just something for you guys to think about when you're pricing out your non-QM loans. I'm going to pause here for any questions. Do you guys have any questions?
Are they only called LLPAs on non-QM loans?
Yeah, it's a loan level adjustment. So the LLPA is just talking about, hey, I'm going to go back to just the standard loan that we first looked up. So you can see. So I'm going to go here to my conforming 30-year fixed. I'm going to click show. And if you scroll down, it'll tell you what the hit is for. Hey, there's a 0.875 for being more than 15 years, at the FICO being 740, and the purchase in it, the option is for purchase. So this will always be at the bottom of whatever loan you price, because it's going to give you what the pricing adjustments are for what you put in as a parameter to look for on your loan. Does that, and so great question, Deshay. If someone is pricing, it doesn't matter if it's a non-QM loan or if it's an FHA loan or a VA loan, make sure when you price it and you take a screenshot to say, hey, this is the pricing I'm getting, make sure you include down here what the adjustments are for. So that way you can say, you know, have an intelligent conversation with the lock desk to say, hey, this is what I got, and I can show you, okay, this is what we got, and this is why we're different. Any questions?
I do have one question, sir.
Go ahead, Manuel.
Well, when you put the reserves, does it give you any different results if you put in 1 month versus 36 months?
Yes. So obviously for non-QM, good question, Manuel. For non-QM loans, it does matter depending on how many months. So I would suggest if you know what it is, if you know what your reserves are, then put those there, right? Because then that way it gives you an accurate, hey, if I know, I'm gonna do this one right now. If I know, I'm gonna go back to the self-employed 12 months, 24 months bank statements, I'm gonna submit it. So, as you can see here, according to this, with my FICO score, it looks like it still qualifies even with only 1 month's bank reserves, according to the pricing. Do you see it there? I've highlighted it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, and I'm going to say this for those of you on this call. Look, if you have 10 things on a loan that people look for, right? All of the compensating factors, and you have one thing that is maybe a little bit suspect. Hey, we need one exception on this non-QM loan. Before you kill it, make sure you bring it to me. I'm going to speak about someone who is on this call who came to me last month because they had a loan that was dying and they needed an exception on retail space versus residential space. And it was a small exception. But I know that no one else would have done it. We were able to contact the investor, and he talked about it on the secondary market. We were able to get it approved, and we closed that loan last month. So just know, if you've got other compensating factors, if the LTV is good, if your debt ratio is good, if your FICO score is good, but there's something like that, hey, you know, instead of being less than 50% retail versus residential is 52%, is there any way to make that work? Make sure that you contact, whether it's me, Darshan, or Tanya first, to see if we can get the exception before killing a deal on something like that, especially when it comes to non-QM business. All right. And the reason I say that, Manuel, is because if this loan had everything else was going good and it was just a matter of reserves, we might be able to make that still work by, there's a couple different ways to make it done, but we can still make it. All right.
Thank you.
Are there any questions up until this point?
Hi, Lopez. I have a question. It's Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. I know your voice.
So my question is, can we price loan stream, like all the investors, off this pricing engine, or
So
not?
anything that's going brokered has to be done through a broker channel. So what happens here is that for our non-QM, we're able to match and meet any price. So the answer to your question is yes, we're approved with LoanStream, and whatever the pricing is going to be done through Encompass. You just have to call me or whoever's going to be in the lock desk moving forward to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Okay.
Now,
Can you
I
on
will
this?
say this because we've talked about it in the past. At this point, all of our down payment assistance is still being brokered at this point. The non-QM, for the most part, is staying in-house. If there's something that is, too outside of the box, then we will also have to broker that, but you'll know ahead of time. Once we get it in and we say, hey, it can't go in-house.
Okay, thank you. I was just gonna ask if you can put the same scenario with the ITIN as an ITIN borrower.
Yeah, so I am going to go here. We're still staying with the same loan amounts. All right, borrower, income verification. Are you doing an ITIN borrower that's self-employed or that's
Yes.
W?
Yeah.
Okay.
Self-employed, same scenario, just with the ITIN.
Okay, so we are looking for citizen type. We're gonna go to, is it down here at the bottom?
I think it is under citizenship, under non-permanent.
Where is it?
I
Where?
think
Hold on.
it was an
I was
option
just
for
looking
foreign
at it.
nationals.
It's just there it is.
Yeah,
There it is.
you
Not
were
permanent.
just there, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I clicked on. All right, so we're gonna do everything else, and we're gonna go to bang, submit. Now, I hope it doesn't price for me, so I can go back to show you guys why it's not pricing. Okay. So there it is. It is pricing right here. Non-delegated flex, select prime, I-10 30-year. If I click on it, it's giving me the rates. So these are your non-QM I-10 loan for the scenario we just put in for the 600,000. Now, I do know that this is this is at 20% down. Yeah, A to B. Yep. Does that make
Mhm.
sense, Melissa?
Yes. Just the only
So
difference is with Loan Stream, if we do 15% down, I just have to price it then separately with Loan Stream because this
No.
pricing engine won't allow me for 15% down.
It just to make sure, I think it should. So 750. 637. So if I search 637 500. 637.
The loan amount should be higher, no?
Oh, whoops, sorry.
There's a 3 there.
That's I fat fingered it. Oh no.
Yeah.
So if I go down here to the I-10 one, it will tell me what the complaint is. Yeah, so it's saying 80%. So yes, what we'll do is I will change these parameters because I think we are doing them in-house at 85%. So give me 24 hours and I'll make sure that's fixed, Melissa.
Okay, that helps a lot.
Yep. So let me take my notes.
So if we already have one locked, then we should be okay, then, right? Regardless.
If you've already locked the
Yes.
loan, yeah, the
Okay.
locks have nothing to do with the pricing. I know that sounds silly because that's what we're talking about, but the locks have nothing to do with the pricing. The pricing is Optimal Blue. The locks are something that we do obviously with our investors. If you have a loan that's already locked at 85%, then it is what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
All
no, that
right.
makes sense. Thanks.
I am going to, because I spent so much time here in Optimal Blue, I want to show you guys that this is very similar to, and I'm going to log into Encompass. Hold on, my Encompass is obviously slow. I apologize. I'm trying to get you guys into my Encompass. Are there any questions about anything I've covered while we're waiting for the incredibly fast Encompass to boot up on my computer?
Did some bad. Oscar, but I don't know. He already. He was.
CeeLo was about to talk. He was talking about it, the exception for that commercial property that we did.
Yeah, did we close that button? It closed, right?
Yeah, finished, closed. Yeah. That was a commercial 6-unit mixed use. 3 were a retail storefront and 3 were residential units in the back.
Wow.
And we needed to get an exception because the residential portion had to be bigger and it had to produce more rental income than the commercial storefront. So I think the exception was only 0.25%, which is pretty good. And I thought it was going to be higher, but thank you for that, for getting that one, taking it to the top.
Thanks for sharing, Oscar. But I'd like, to Oscar, what Oscar's saying is make sure you run it by us to make sure if we have to make a phone call, we can get some of those exceptions done. All right, so I don't know whose loan this is. It looks like it's from June, so it's older, and it looks like no one's been working on it. So I'm going to use this loan for the purposes of training for now. Okay, so let's say I wanted to look at this loan and I wanted to lock the loan. I would click right here, see the little lock button, or even if I don't want to lock the loan, let's say I just want to price the loan. So for those of you that are on this phone call, just because you're in Encompass doesn't mean you have to lock it. You can just go in and price the loan based off the parameters in your file. And as a matter of fact, until you lock the loan, I think you should do this on a daily basis. Go in on a daily basis. Hey, where are my rates at today for my loan? And if you do it through Encompass, it will automatically register what your current loan amount is, what the FICO score is, all of those things that you need to know. The only thing I will do, just because I want to go in here and double check, is if
Lopez,
I go
I have
to,
a question.
Yes.
So we should be locking through Encompass and not through Optima Blue?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yes, 100. But I'm going to show you right now that when you lock through Encompass, it goes through Optimal Blue. I mean, that's why I have a feeling. And again, no dig on anyone that was here before. I have a feeling that a lot of times there was extra work being done when you guys can do this on your own. You don't have to wait for the lock desk to call you back. If Deshay is here and she needs to try to lock a loan and I'm in the kitchen eating a Cuban sandwich, she ain't got to wait for me. Hey, guess what? Go ahead, make it happen. I've got mustard on my face. Go in and lock your loan. So the only thing I'm going to do real quickly, just because I see it happen all the time. All right, see this? See the FICO scores that are here? It's got credit score for making decision. That's good. I'm glad it's there. That's the one thing I really check before I run the pricing in Encompass. It's one less thing I got to go searching for. So I click right here on right where it says not locked, and I'm going to click right here where it says search for product and pricing. It's going to ask me if I want to go to Optimal Blue. The answer is yes. So I'm going to submit. And right here, it's going to have, right now it's got my credentials. So when you're pricing your loan, make sure you're pricing using your credentials. Now, for everyone on this phone call, including the branch managers, whoever prices the loan first, the pricing that went with the initial person that priced the loan stays with the loan. So you have to make sure, whether it's the Southgate branch or the Orange branch, or someone internally should price the loan first. And once it's priced first, it will always stay with that pricing. So I'm going to price this loan here through me. And you guys will notice in a second, or 5 seconds, or 10, or 15, there we go. And there we go. Guess what, guys? It looks exactly the same as Optimal Blue because it is. When you price through Encompass, all it does is take all of the information and put it into the Optimal Blue settings for it. So if you see here, you can see that the loan amount's already there. It's got my estimated value. It's got this cash out, but that looks wrong to me. But apparently, maybe it is. So this is the cash out. It shows what the value is. You see where it says appraised value is different than estimated value? Obviously, that's a mistake. So I'm going to change it because if that must mean that the appraisal came in at 750, I'm going to move it to 750. So months of reserves, my FICO's already there, my DTI, verified, resident, conforming, and I'm going to go down here and click submit. It's coming up here as Mercury, Fannie Mae. I'm sorry, Freddie Mac. If I click here, it'll show me the rates. And I can see that right now off of today's pricing, if I wanted to sell this guy a 7.125, it would be at par. If I wanted to lock this loan, all I have to do is push the lock button here. And what it'll do is it will send it, it will kick you out of Encompass, and it will send the lock desk, which happens to be me right now, unfortunately, to me. And then I will go in and it'll kick you out. It'll kick you out of Encompass. Then I will go in and on my end, I will verify the lock request. I will go make sure that the investor matches. And then once I do the lock with the investor, I will push back an acceptance or a denial or a change. I can do all of those things on my end through Optimal Blue. And if it's approved and I push it back, if someone is out of the file, it will accept the approved lock and it will make any changes that I made. So let's say, for example, I sent this lock over at 7.25. And it comes over and I see that the pricing at 7 1/8 is better, and I don't want you guys to have to charge the borrower $509. I might change your lock request to 7.125 to give you the better rate at par. And when I push it back, it will, if no one's in Encompass, the next time someone opens Encompass, it will update the rate to the correct rate that I locked. And you guys won't have to worry about making the change because technically I made the change on the lock. Okay. Do you guys have any questions on what I did? Doing everything through Encompass is so much easier and faster because it's already there. You don't have to worry about making mistakes. Oh, going back to the LLPAs that we talked about before, Deshay, I know you asked earlier. On this file right here, it shows what my hits are. It's a cash out loan. At this FICO score, it's a 1.375 hit. It looks like it's a written VOE, which we don't do anymore. And then that's a quarter hit. So this is an example of what the pricing hits would look like for this loan based off of these parameters that were sent over through Encompass.
I do have a question. QM section. When is it okay that there's a red X there? I thought it had to have a green check mark.
Yeah, so that has to do with the QM about it. Is it, it's checking to see if it qualifies for the passing of fees. For right now, it's send over the lock, and then we can always fix that on the back end because at least you're locking the pricing in for the day, and then we can work backwards. But it's not for locking. If it was blacked out, meaning let's say it was 4:30 and you guys were trying to lock, right here where it says select, the select wouldn't give you the option to send it to push over the lock. Okay.
Christopher, what's our cutoff time now?
The cutoff time right now is 4:00. That's I'm standing behind that right now until further notice. And the only reason is because if we lock something today, in order to get that locked LE, I need time for the rest of the office here to be able to get that locked LE out for you guys and then get it over. Also, we need to go in and lock with the investor. So we want to make sure we hit all of our cutoff times. So for now, nothing's changing. Our cutoff time is still 4:00.
Thanks.
All right. Are there any other questions on how to lock through Encompass?
Or they want to reinforce any part of that, please.
They want to what?
Reinforce anything that you said.
Yes. I'm sorry. Are
Yeah.
there any, do you want me to reinforce? Want me to go over it again? Again, if you're in Encompass, it's as simple as just clicking on the lock. You're going to click product and pricing. You want to go to Optimal Blue Enhanced. It will come up with your login information. You're going to click continue. And it's going to have, now I want you guys to notice, because I didn't request the lock and I didn't push it back, it's still giving me two different prices here, which means in the system, it hasn't been updated. So I'm going to give an example. If I make this change on the lock request, when I submit it and it gets accepted, when it pushes back to Encompass, it will update the price value, match the appraised value. Just to give you an example. All right. Are there any other questions? So I'll be honest.
Chris, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a quick question. You know how it has that save as prospect? So, I mean, is that something that a lot of people use, or just go back to this? What do you recommend?
This is grayed out. There's a reason why it's grayed out, because we're in the actual file. So it's not a prospect. So
Okay.
I'm going to go to our website. Is this it? Is this, hold on, let me. Oh, and here's another thing. I'm glad. Okay, for those of you that can see this, I'm in my loan officer login here in Encompass. I try to go back to the web browser. It won't let you be in Optimal Blue in more than one access site. So if you're logged in Optimal Blue on your computer and you try to log in Encompass to Optimal Blue, it's going to kick you out of what you were in before. So right now, I just went to my website and it's not letting me in because it thinks I'm logged in through Encompass. So I am going to log out of Encompass. Sorry. And now I'm going to log in here again. So let's. Okay, so I'm going to put in what was here before that we were using. Okay. Did I get everything? I think I did. Oh. FICO's required. I'm going to put it here at 720. 720. All right. I'm going to go over here and put save as prospect. Now, technically, this is you can go back and recall this later for I didn't put a name in. So I don't know. I might have gone too fast.
Do we put the borrower's name there?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the borrower's name.
It's not necessary.
Yeah.
You don't need to put the borrower's name.
Right. But so then that way you can see it on the other screen. So if I go over here, this was the one I was just looking at. If I click, it will pull up the old one. Juana's there. I can always go back to Juana if I want to pull it up in the future. So I can go to new search. I'm going to go to new search. All right, we're going to do 500, and we're going to do 650. And I'm going to do this one is going to be a FICO score of 680. And let's say this one is 9, and this one is going to be in FHA loan. So I can say that this name is Lopez. So I need to go to my county, Orange. Damn it. I can say this is a prospect. Okay. So now when I go into my pipeline in the future, if I wanted to pull up Juana or Lopez, I just go in here and click on search and it'll automatically reload whatever their information was. So back to your question, Angelica, yes. Can you use it? Yes. Would you use it? I did it all the time. I had like a standard FHA one in there, and I had a standard conforming one in there, and I had a standard non-QM bank statement. So then that way I could just pull them up quickly and know the only thing I need to change are the loan amounts or the FICO score. But I know it's already clicked, you know, that they are self-employed and it is 24 months bank statements, or it's already clicked that it is an FHA loan. So that way I'm not trying to make, because it's just a little bit easier. It takes out a little bit of the steps if you're pricing out a lot. Now, again, this just gives you the general idea, but once you submit your loan into Encompass, stop using Optimal Blue, just price through Encompass. And you should do it, I'm not joking, on a daily basis. Do it on a daily basis, find out what's going on, look at your LLPAs, find out, hey, does that look right? Why am I getting hit for a cash out loan when it's a rate and term refinance? Or why am I getting hit with a refinance when it's a purchase? Hey, this LTV doesn't look right. I'm telling you, whenever the appraisal comes in, make sure that you go in and make sure that the appraisal is right, the value is right, and then reprice the loan. How does the appraisal coming in at whatever the new value is, does it change the parameters of my pricing? Okay. Are there any questions up until this point? Sonia, do you have any questions? I know that
I have a
Sonia.
question when you're.
Somebody,
Yes.
Jeff.
Go ahead, Jeff.
This is Jeff.
I know.
Good. So, I don't know if you covered it, but can you show me how to lock the loan?
Yeah, it's real
Or is
simple.
that something you want to do privately?
Yeah, no. We can show you how to lock the loan, but it was quick and I will do it again. So I'm going to log out here because it's not going to let me do it through Encompass. I'm going to go back to my Encompass loan. I'm going to go back to that Martinez Ramirez loan. If I want to lock this file, I'm going to click on the lock, product and pricing, go through Optimal Blue Enhanced. It should have your logins here. You're going to click continue. it's going to populate all of this stuff. I'm going to fix this. And then you're going to click submit. When you click submit, it's going to give you the rates. So I'm going to go here to my, for argument's sake, and this one I'm going to click on the Fannie. So I'm going to click on the Fannie. It's going to give me the rates. And I'm going to go down to the rate I want. The rate I want is 7.125. If you go all the way to the right, that little lock button is what you're going to click.
Got it.
If you click that button, it sends the lock to the lock desk, and the lock desk can do their magic behind the curtain. And then they will, if they accept the lock, they will push back the acceptance or deny it, or they will change it and send it back to you. And when they send it back to you, it will happen through Encompass when you're out of the file or whatever process. Everyone's got to be out of the file in order for the push lock to go back into the system and update the system correctly.
So
Makes sense?
it does make sense. And if it's a Cal HFA,
If it's a Cal FHA, right now I'm getting stuck. It's a brokered loan. It doesn't happen through Encompass.
right? Okay. So I shouldn't have to worry about clicking that button in this case. In that case,
No, that is
Okay.
correct.
Cool.
All right. Now we will update the lock on brokered loans, but it's done a little bit differently. It's not done necessarily through the system like this.
Got it.
All right.
Cool. Thanks.
No problem. Any other questions?
So what is the process when you do the broker loans, Lopez?
What? Wow. Are you in a tunnel, Ricardo? Try it again.
What is the process on broker loans?
Broker loans is going to be a little bit different. You're going to let us know, hey, this is, I'm ready to lock the loan. We'll pull it up, the brokered loan, along with you guys on the phone, and we'll make sure that the pricing all matches, and then we'll push it through. And then in Encompass, I want the lock to still go, because just because you locked a brokered loan doesn't mean we shouldn't keep the timing on it when it was locked and when the lock expires. So that way. Let's say, Ricardo, you and I take the time to lock a brokered loan, and you and I know when it is, but let's say a processor goes into the file and they don't know that we've locked it, it creates a little bit of an issue. Even though the LE is being sent out by the broker, we want to make sure that internally we show that it's being done and moving through the system as a lock loan.
So for safeguard, for us, it's best to also send you an email confirming after the talk. So that way, if you guys forget to lock it, then the hit is corporate responsible for it.
The hit for what? For a broker loan, the corporate. So
Say
we're
for
locking.
example, if we talked about it and you guys forget to lock it, because before we did it with Ruben. So what's the new protocol?
Yeah. So you're locking it through me. Right now it's me. We're interviewing right now for the new locks, but right now it's me. And then after me, it's going to be whoever we fill the position with. Okay. So yeah, nothing's changing. If you were doing it with Ruben, I have a lot less hair than he does, but I'm your new Ruben for now. All right. So yeah.
You are more handsome.
Yeah, right. I'll send you the 20 in the mail, bud. Any other questions?
Thank you. Good class.
No, thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
so we will continue with this class, guys. This is our first one, and we want to continue because I think it's very thorough and there's a lot of stuff over there. But thank you very much, Christopher. I think this was a very good class. Everybody was very, interactive, so which is good. And now we're going to present Tanya. So please, I'm going to invite Tanya to be here.
Thank you, Les.
And
Thank you, guys. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. Very helpful.